Hey guys, welcome back. It's Lucid, and it is turn 45. We have a message from Phalegra. So the invasion of Satis is going great. Xanthrast will fall. I think that's the little fort in the southwest side of Satis. We have a dire portent. I think that was riches from beneath. Oh no, I think it was Eternal Pyre. Okay. So we have Eternal Pyre going up by Arco. But the real question is, do we have a battle between Arco and Agartha? So this is a small contingent of the Agarthan army. Did he split his forces in the face of the enemy? Oh. Alright guys, get out your popcorn. On the side of Arco Cephale, we've got what looks to be about 25 mages. And what I can only assume is about 250 or probably about 320, maybe a little more troops. On the side of Arco, there's about 800 troops. But only just the smallest handful of mages that he is going to require to lead the Long Dead. Do we have anybody casting flaming arrows from Agartha? Because that's something Agartha can do pretty easily. They usually have to wire together, I think, a communion. And they might be able to do it without, especially with boosters. I'm sure they could do it without. So it doesn't look like we'll have any significant battlefield magic for Agartha, other than some retail long dead summoning. Let's see what happens. I'm expecting, we could have Serpent's Blessing coming out from Arco and Foul Vapors. Okay, he has Aerofend. Now, this is really important. That's going to make these 400 crossbow, is what it looks like. Maybe 350 crossbow. That's going to make them really only act like 70 crossbow. It's going to divide, they're basically going to be 20% effectiveness. So, yeah. Strength of Giants coming down, a little bit of it going on the front troops. Mostly what we're seeing, though, is that he's really protecting these guys, the Mage Corps. Oh, we have Sparte coming out. So Dragon Teeth. Turn on Team Colored Squares so you guys can see what's happening a little easier. The Mage Corps back here doing Sailor's Death, Bar Strike, Dragon Teeth. Reanimation. And I think what we'll see is that so there's a bunch of things that are happening. One of the things is that one of the things that can happen when you get Aerofend on your troops, your own crossbowmen can become a liability. And the reason for that's pretty simple, is because they can friendly fire. So like, watch this. You do some damage. He's got some of his archers on attack, which I'm unsure about. Yeah, I think that archer volley did more friendly fire than it did to these guys. They've got shields, they've got Aerofend. They are very resistant. I did a decent amount still of damage to these guys, but it's just not enough. I mean, look at the size of the armies now. There's more. I think there's more Arco stuff on the board than there is Agartha, and Agartha started out with almost a 2-to-1 advantage. And these crossbows are a true liability for him. Now, Agartha cannot put up Aerofend easily. If you did, then the crossbows wouldn't be nearly as much of a liability, because his troops would also be resistant. His entrance guard. So when we look at the battle report at the end, what we're probably going to see is these crossbowmen actually have a fair number of kills, but a lot of these kills are probably going to be friendly fire. They will have killed some of these guys, especially like chaff like Long Dead. which don't, like, these Spartae aren't going to have Aerofind on them. So they will get picked off, and, you know, these guys will get picked off. But they're not going to have many true kills, like kills on non-summoned units that are the enemy. And I think we know how this goes from here. This is kind of cool. I mean, Agartha could have maybe done a little bit better on strategic mobility, but this is just how the game of Dominions works. The strategy Arco is pursuing isn't really it's not really a thing. You can't do only troops and no mage support this late into the game. The Mystics killed 96. Orphic Mystics killed 28. A lot of this was probably some kind of banishment or dust to dust. They summoned a ton of things. If the Muse, I don't know who put up Aerofind. Because the Mystics don't get air. Morning Siren. Okay, this one probably did it. But yeah, loses 83 guys. And they were significant. You know, he lost some heart companions. He lost some hoplites. They weren't like garbage he lost, but I mean, GG Agartha. They're in deep, deep trouble now. So yeah, you basically, to play Dominions, you have to use your mages this late in the game. And so hopefully that's a good lesson for Agartha here. Let's take a look. So the battle was here. I mean, Agartha still has big armies, but he doesn't have research. And that's the kind of thing, like, you can't really bounce back from this. Because, like, okay, you know, like, let's look at the army graph, right? His army graph got cut in half, almost. Got cut by 40%. I'm like, okay, you can build that up, maybe. It's going to be painful. But the research advantage is ridiculous. Like, here's Arco. He's double. Okay, Arco's actually pretty low. But, you know, Agartha's half of them. And, you know, clearly Arco has useful research. If, you know, if Agartha wasn't making crossbows, if they were making, you know, their other troops, maybe things would be a little better, because the crossbows are kind of useless right now. They're actually a liability. Do we look at how many kills they got? They still got a lot of kills. But this was not the kills they wanted. It was either summons from Arco or it was friendly fire. So it'd be interesting what happens. I mean, I think Arco's got a decent shot at just conquering them. The only problem is, like, he's all in, right? Which means if he gets backstabbed by anybody, he's in deep shit. But this army, assuming it has enough gems, it can just march through and kill every Agartha thing in its way. But only having one army, I mean, I think kind of what what Arco should want to do is split this and probably reduce the mage commitment a bit, right? So, but to do that, he would need 2 casters of Aerofind, and then he could split this army, maybe send a few of the mages home to get his research going again. Because otherwise, if he just keeps this all together, Agartha can just run around on him on the strategic map, and then he's stuck on this like wild goose chase. Because he really can't just take this army and march to Agartha's capital. It's not exactly practical, because the amount of damage that these 2 Agartha armies can do if they're not dealt with while he's off marching and sieging the capital would be enormous. So he kind of needs to split up, get these armies killed, and then start taking Agarthan infrastructure. And we already know there's some pretty big PD traps waiting for him to have to push through. So, yeah, that was super cool. I'm super glad we got to see that fight. Coming down, Joman, I think he's mostly at peace. Killed these barbs here. Killed these knights here. He's definitely shifting troops up this way. Troops are moving up this way. Looking like he's going to go... Yeah, he's going to go on Bogarus. Bogarus has moved off of this fort from Satis. It's possible he's been getting assassinated to hell. It's hard to say. But that is actually good, because if he lost a major fight against Satis, which it's possible that happened last turn. Let me check. All right, I went and checked. It did not happen. So Bogarus is actually just voluntarily... You know, he may have been assisted by some assassinations, but he's voluntarily moved off this fort. And it's good that he didn't lose this army, especially if he might have lost it in a coming fight with Satis, because I am, from looking at this, and also based on what Joman's told us, like 90% certain Bogarus is about to get stabbed by Joman. There's stuff all over the border here. I don't think they have a non-aggression pact. He's going to need everything he's got. So that's going to be exciting. With Phalegra and Satis, they got hit by barbs here. Watch out. Indy's weighing in. I think there's a mercs in front. There's a couple barb horsemen. Yeah, these are mostly mercs. Fort isn't popped yet. I mean, Phalegra's just giving him so many opportunities to split this army in two, raid out, and just start crushing his armies. So, hard to say. I mean, I think what Phalegra's going to do is move on top of this and be like, okay, you want to defend your cap, you can defend your cap, and I'll take all of your other forts. I think that's the Phalegra game plan right now, which is reasonable. You know, if it's just going to sit in their cap, okay, you do that, I'll just take everything else. For Abyssia, they are moving their troops northwards, getting ready to go fight Ulm. I think a little ill-advised. I think I would probably stab Lemuria. And then this brings us to the big theater of war. Oh my gosh. Ulm attacks Lemuria, but Lemuria moved everything. And he's got a Timu, too. No special trait on a Timu. And we don't have... Oh, she might be casting Rigor Mortis. We have his god. Oh, she can do Foul Vapors, too. This is... I like this nature on the god. That's very nice. And there's Rigor Mortis. I don't think he really needs it here. There's really nothing here. Okay, these guys can spam dust to dust and stuff, but it's not going to matter. There's not enough... This army doesn't have enough ghost-killing power in general to fight this many. But now they're all... The Mage Corps is going to be going to sleep. Yeah, they're done. And so now... And these guys are going to be going... It's over. This is how many ghosts have gotten killed. There'll be a few more that die. It's Foul Vapors, too. It's a disaster. Loses 9 mages. And then a Hawkmeister and a High Priest. For almost nothing. Kills 149 troops. Costs him nothing. This is the problem with static defense. You're basically saying, hey, I'm going to move a bunch of medium commitment things. Meanwhile, Lemuria has something to just come out and smash whole armies. I wasn't expecting this, though, just because I thought Lemuria was going to move this up to deal with Kalem. But we're not seeing that happen. All moves up this way. Take this here. Oh, so he catches the Grand Lemurs. Let's see how he deals with him here. The other thing Ulm can do pretty easily is Ravenous Swarm as part of a communion with his Fortune Tellers. It's really good at dealing with like kind of casual Lemurian raids. Is he just going to kill him with Banishment and then these guys? It appears so. These Y-handers just didn't take much damage. And yeah, it just takes one hit to go through. Of course, it'll happen with good regularity. But honestly, if these guys had a proper script like Astral Shield, if they were buffed up, if they had... especially if they had invulnerability and Soul Vortex and stuff, they would have killed this. So anyway, that's cool. It worked. And hey, you don't need to like overkill. We know Lemuria doesn't really have the research for Alt 5 yet. So it's not going to be long in coming, but No need to prepare for something if that's not going to happen. Or not happen yet. Okay. This is a desperate situation now for Ulm. Like, what do you do with this army? You've lost now 9 mages, 150 troops. You're all split to hell. How are you going to fight Foul Vapors? Do you have Enchantment 7 for Serpent's Blessing? Because that's the other thing. Like, when they were grouping up, I didn't know that his god had water too. You really don't want to doom stack into Foul Vapors. Ulm has the tools to deal with it, but you need then like Serpent's Blessing, and I don't think Ulm has that yet. Research for Ulm. They could have it. They totally could have it. Whether they do or not, it's hard to say, because we know they've got Iron Blizzard, which means they're at least Evocations 6. It would be tight for whether they could have Serpent's Blessing, but they basically need Serpent's Blessing now to fight Lemurian Doomstacks that has the god in it. In the meanwhile, like, there's no way they're going to be able to defend this throne. This army's not going to really be able to defend it. I mean, maybe you could sacrifice this army to keep it. Like, maybe these guys can do enough Iron Blizzard they can still win, even though they are going to lose the whole Mage Court of Foul Vapors. I don't think you can keep this throne. So I think Lemuria gets this. Then I think they can just put raiding pressure over here and go take all these forts. This is a disaster for Ulm. The only thing that's a silver lining about this is if he didn't know this already, like I didn't know it, I probably should have. It was probably revealed at some point. But if you didn't know their god could do Foul Vapors, now you do. And this was actually an extremely reasonable price to pay to find that out, compared to what it might have been. Like if your army of like 500 or 600 dudes got hit by Rigor Mortis and Foul Vapors, it'd be so painful. So you know what you need. You know you need Serpent's Blessing. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Lemuria raids down here with the console. All right, no gear. All right. But I mean, the thing about this whole thing is Abyssea is going to now come and hit this. Ulm just does not have the resources. I will be very surprised if Ulm is able to survive for 10 more turns. I feel like he is dead now. Which is so strange, because he's just this like won battle after battle with Lemuria, but he's had like tactical victories, but has been strategically losing. So, anyway. Very cool. Jomin, we've already looked at. What's this? Ping? No, an Earth Gnome attacked. Satis and Phlegra we've looked at. We're 18 minutes in. I think we'll call it for an episode here. So tune in next time. We'll see what happens in the Satis Phlegra war and the Ulm Lemuria war. And we're going to see Calum gearing up to go on Lemuria too. And then we'll also see what Abyssea does. And what Jomin and Bogarus do. So lots of exciting things. Tune back in next time. Find out. Until then, we'll see you.